When a desperate single mother sat crying in Chicago's O'Hare Airport with her feverish baby, she had no idea the quiet stranger who offered to help would change her life forever. What basketball legend Michael Jordan did for Maya Rodriguez and her 8-month-old daughter Sophia that snowy December night would shock the world months later. But the most incredible part wasn't his act of kindness. It was the family secret that neither of them knew, a connection that explained why their chance meeting felt like destiny. This is the true story of how one moment of compassion revealed a bond deeper than anyone imagined, and how sometimes the greatest miracles happen when we need them most. The snow fell like angry tears against the windows of Chicago O'Hare Airport. Maya Rodriguez pulled her worn jacket tighter around her shoulders and shifted her crying baby to her other arm. 8-month-old Sophia had been fussing for 2 hours straight, her tiny face red and hot with fever. Flight 447 to Phoenix has been canceled due to weather, the gate agent announced over the speaker. All passengers please see customer service for rebooking. Maya felt her heart sink into her stomach. She looked down at Sophia, whose dark eyes were glassy with sickness. The baby's forehead burned against Maya's palm when she checked her temperature again. "Shoo, Mija," Maya whispered in Spanish, bouncing Sophia gently. "It's going to be okay." But Maya didn't believe her own words. Nothing felt okay. The December storm had trapped hundreds of passengers inside the airport. People slept on chairs and floors everywhere. Babies cried. Adults complained loudly about missed connections and ruined plans. Maya found an empty chair near gate B12 and sat down carefully. Her old diaper bag fell to the floor with a soft thud. She opened it and counted her supplies. 3 diapers left, 1 bottle of baby formula, a small container of fever medicine that wasn't working. Her phone buzzed with a text message. Maya's heart jumped, hoping it might be good news. Instead, she saw a message from her landlord. "Rent is 3 days late. You have until Friday or you're out." Maya closed her eyes and tried not to cry. She had $47 in her bank account. The plane ticket to Phoenix had cost her last bit of savings. This job interview was supposed to change everything. For 2 years, Maya had studied nursing while working nights at Tony's Diner on the South Side. She served coffee and pancakes to truck drivers and late-night workers, saving every tip for Sophia's future. The hospital in Phoenix wanted to hire her as a pediatric nurse. It was her dream job, caring for sick children just like the nurses who helped Sophia when she was born too early. But now the storm had ruined everything. "Excuse me, could you please quiet your baby?" A businessman in an expensive suit glared at Maya from across the waiting area. "Some of us are trying to work." Maya's cheeks burned with embarrassment. "I'm sorry. She's sick." "Well, take her somewhere else then," the man snapped. Returning to his laptop, an elderly woman sitting nearby picked up her purse and moved to a different seat. She shook her head and muttered something under her breath about people these days. Maya wanted to disappear. She stood up and walked toward the bathroom, hoping Sophia might calm down in the quiet hallway. But the baby only cried harder, her small fists waving in the air. Maya's phone rang. She answered quickly, hoping to hear her babysitter's voice. "Maya? This is Dr. Stevens from Phoenix Children's Hospital." Maya's heart stopped. "Yes, hello, Dr. Stevens. I'm calling about tomorrow's interview. With this storm, we know flights are canceled. Can you make it by noon tomorrow instead of 9 a.m.? Maya looked around the crowded airport. Snow still pounded the windows. The departure board showed nothing but red, canceled messages. I'm not sure," Maya said honestly. "I'm stuck at O'Hare right now." "I understand. Unfortunately, if you can't make it by noon tomorrow, we'll have to offer the position to our second choice. We need someone to start immediately." The phone call ended. Maya stared at her phone screen, watching her dreams slip away like snow, melting on warm ground. 2 years of studying, months of planning, all her hope for a better life for Sophia. Gone. Maya returned to her seat at gate B12. Sophia's crying had gotten worse. Other passengers stared and whispered. Maya felt completely alone in the crowded airport. She opened her phone and looked at a photo of her parents. Carlos and Maria Rodriguez had died in a car crash when Maya was 6 months pregnant. They never got to meet their granddaughter. They had always told Maya she came from a family of fighters, people who never gave up. "I don't know how to keep fighting, Mama." Maya whispered to the photo. That's when she noticed him. A tall man in a simple black jacket and Chicago Bulls baseball cap sat down 3 seats away. Unlike everyone else, he didn't look annoyed by Sophia's crying. Instead, his face showed concern and kindness. Maya didn't recognize the man, but something about him felt safe. He looked at Sophia with gentle eyes, then glanced at Maya with what looked like understanding. The stranger started to stand up, as if he wanted to approach them. Maya held her breath, wondering what this mysterious man was about to do. The tall man in the bull's cap walked over slowly, his hands in his pockets. He moved like he didn't want to scare Maya or make her uncomfortable. When he reached her row of seats, he stopped and spoke in a gentle voice. "Excuse me, miss. Is your little one okay?" Maya looked up at him, surprised. His voice was kind, not angry like the businessman or judgmental like the elderly woman. She saw genuine worry in his dark eyes. "She has a fever," Maya said softly, bouncing Sophia in her arms. "I gave her medicine, but it's not working very well." The man nodded and sat down in the seat next to Maya, keeping a respectful distance. He was tall and athletic looking, probably in his 50s. His clothes were simple but nice. Dark jeans, a plain black jacket, and worn sneakers. "My name's Mike," he said with a warm smile. "Mind if I sit here? I promise I won't bother you." "I'm Maya," she replied, grateful that someone was being kind to her. "And this is Sophia." Mike looked at the crying baby with soft eyes. "Hello there, Sophia. You're not feeling good, are you?" Something about his voice seemed to calm Sophia slightly. Her crying became quieter, more like whimpering than screaming. "How old is she?" Mike asked. 8 months, Maya said, wiping Sophia's sweaty forehead with a tissue. "She's usually such a happy baby. But this fever started this morning, and now we're stuck here." Mike noticed Maya's nearly empty diaper bag on the floor. He could see she had very few supplies left. Her clothes looked worn and old, but clean. Her shoes had holes in them. "Have you eaten anything today?" Mike asked. Maya shook her head. "I'm not really hungry. I just want Sophia to feel better." "When did you last eat?" Mike pressed gently. Maya thought about it. "Yesterday morning, I think. I had some crackers before we left for the airport." Mike's face showed concern. "You can't take care of your baby if you don't take care of yourself. Wait here for a minute, okay?" Before Maya could protest, Mike stood up and walked away. Maya watched him go, wondering if he would come back. Most people said nice things and then disappeared. She had learned not to expect much from strangers, but 10 minutes later, Mike returned carrying a small pharmacy bag and a takeout container from one of the airport restaurants. "I got some children's fever reducer," he said, sitting back down. "The pharmacist said this brand works better for babies Sophia's age." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I can't pay you back right now, but I promise I will when. Don't worry about it," Mike said, waving his hand. "Just take care of your little girl." He handed Maya the medicine and showed her the directions on the box. Then he opened the takeout container. Inside was a warm sandwich, some fruit, and a bottle of water. "Turkey and cheese," Mike said. "Nothing fancy, but you need to eat something." Maya stared at the food. She couldn't remember the last time someone had bought her a meal. Her stomach growled loudly, making her blush with embarrassment. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't even know me." "I know you're a good mom," Mike said simply. "That's enough." Maya gave Sophia the new medicine and then took a bite of the sandwich. It tasted better than anything she had eaten in weeks. As she ate, Mike sat quietly beside her, not asking for anything in return. Sophia's fever began to break within 30 minutes. The baby's crying stopped, and she fell asleep in Maya's arms. The change was like magic. "She looks so peaceful now," Mike said, watching Sophia sleep. "I can't believe it worked so fast," Maya said, touching Sophia's cooler forehead. "You saved us." Mike shook his head. "You saved her. You're the one who's been taking care of her all day. I just helped a little." Maya looked around the airport terminal. Other passengers had stopped staring at them now that Sophia was quiet. Some people were even smiling at the sleeping baby. "Why did you help us?" Maya asked. "Everyone else just wanted us to go away." Mike was quiet for a moment. He looked at Sophia's peaceful face and then at Maya's tired but grateful expression. "I grew up with a single mother," he said finally. "I know how hard it can be. Sometimes people just need a little help." Maya felt tears coming again, but this time they were happy tears. For the first time in months, she didn't feel completely alone. I don't know how to thank you, she said. You don't need to thank me, Mike replied. Just keep being a good mom. Sophia is lucky to have you. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching Sophia sleep. The storm continued outside, but inside the airport, Maya felt warm and safe. Her phone buzzed with a text message. Maya's heart sank as she read it. Knowing this news would change everything again. Maya stared at her phone screen, reading the text message 3 times before the words sank in. Her hands started shaking. Phoenix Children's Hospital. Due to weather delays, we have filled the nursing position with another candidate. Thank you for your interest. The phone slipped from Maya's fingers and clattered to the floor. Mike quickly picked it up and handed it back to her, but Maya just sat there holding it, staring at nothing. What's wrong? Mike asked gently to Maya's eyes filled with tears. She tried to speak, but no words came out. Finally, she managed to whisper, "They gave my job to someone else." "What job?" Mike asked, leaning forward with concern. "The nursing job in Phoenix," Maya said, her voice breaking. "It was supposed to be my interview tomorrow. My chance to become a pediatric nurse. Now it's gone." The tears came faster now. Maya tried to wipe them away without waking Sophia, but they kept falling. 2 years of planning and studying had just disappeared in a single text message. "Tell me about this job," Mike said softly. Maya took a shaky breath. "I've been studying nursing for 2 years while working at Tony's Diner downtown. Every night shift, every weekend, saving money for Sophia's future. This hospital in Phoenix wanted to hire me to work with sick children." She looked down at Sophia sleeping peacefully in her arms. "I wanted to help kids like her. When Sophia was born, she was premature. Only 4 pounds. The nurses at the hospital were angels. They saved her life and taught me how to be strong." Mike listened carefully, watching Maya's face as she spoke. "Those nurses inspired me to become one too," Maya continued. "I finished all my classes, passed all my tests. This job was going to change everything for us." "What happens now?" Mike asked. Maya's shoulders slumped. "I don't know. I spent my last savings on this plane ticket. My landlord already sent me an eviction notice. Rent was due 3 days ago, and I don't have it." She pulled out her wallet and showed Mike the contents. 2 $20 bills and some coins. $47. "That's all I have left in the world." Mike's expression grew serious. "What about family? Friends who could help?" Maya shook her head sadly. "My parents died in a car crash 2 years ago. A drunk driver hit them on their way home from work. I was 6 months pregnant with Sophia when it happened." "I'm so sorry," Mike said quietly. "They were all the family I had," Maya continued. "Sophia's father left when I told him I was pregnant. Said he wasn't ready to be a dad. I haven't heard from him since." Maya showed Mike a photo on her phone. It was a picture of Sophia in the hospital as a tiny newborn, surrounded by wires and machines. "She was so small," Maya said, touching the screen. "The doctors weren't sure she would make it, but she fought so hard. She's a fighter just like my parents always said our family was." Mike studied the photo carefully. "She's beautiful and strong, just like her mom." "I don't feel strong right now," Maya admitted. "I feel like I'm failing her. She deserves so much better than this." "Tell me about your parents," Mike said. "What were they like?" Maya's face brightened slightly despite her tears. "My dad, Carlos, worked construction. My mom, Maria, cleaned offices at night. They both worked so hard, but we were always happy. They taught me to never give up on my dreams." "What would they tell you right now?" Mike asked. Maya thought about it. "They'd say that tough times don't last, but tough people do. That's what Dad always said when things got difficult." "Sounds like smart people," Mike said with a small smile. "They were everything to me," Maya said. "When they died, I thought about giving up. But then Sophia was born, and I knew I had to keep going. She needed me to be strong." Mike watched Maya rock Sophia gently. Even in her despair, Maya's love for her daughter was obvious in every movement. "You said you studied pediatric nursing," Mike said. "Why children?" "Because they're innocent," Maya replied immediately. "When kids are sick, they just want someone to care about them. They don't judge you or treat you badly. They just need love and help to get better. Like Sophia needed tonight," Mike observed. "Exactly. I want to be the nurse who makes scared kids feel safe, who helps worried parents like me know everything. We'll be okay." Mike nodded thoughtfully. "That's a beautiful dream." "It was a dream," Maya corrected sadly. "Now I don't know what I'll do." Maybe I can get my old job back at the diner. But that barely pays enough for rent, and I still need to pay for childcare. She looked around the busy airport. I can't even afford a hotel room tonight. When we get back to Chicago tomorrow, I don't know where we'll go. Mike was quiet for a long moment, watching other travelers hurry past with their luggage and plans. Then he turned to Maya with a determined look in his eyes. Maya, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you really believe your parents were right? That tough people last through tough times. Maya looked down at Sophia, who was still sleeping peacefully. I want to believe it. But sometimes it's hard to keep hoping. Mike reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his phone. I need to make a quick call. Will you watch my bag for a minute? Sure, Maya said, confused by the sudden change in topic. Mike stood up and walked a few steps away, speaking quietly into his phone. Maya couldn't hear what he was saying, but he looked serious and focused. He talked for several minutes, occasionally glancing back at Maya and Sophia. When he returned, there was something different about his expression. He looked excited, but also secretive. Maya, I want you to give me your phone number, he said. What? Maya asked, surprised. Because I think I might know someone who can help you. But I need to make some more calls first. Maya hesitated. She had learned to be careful about trusting people, especially men who made big promises. I'm not promising anything definite, Mike said, reading her expression. But I have some connections in Chicago. People who might be interested in hiring a dedicated nursing student like you. Really? Maya asked, hope creeping into her voice. Really? But I need your contact information to reach you. Maya gave Mike her phone number, writing it carefully on a napkin from the food container. She also wrote down her address. Things are going to get better, Maya, Mike said, looking her straight in the eyes. I promise you that. Just don't give up hope. Something in his voice made Maya believe him, even though she didn't understand why this stranger cared so much about helping her. I won't give up, she said quietly. For Sophia. Mike smiled and stood up as the gate agent announced that flights were finally starting to board again. The storm was clearing, and people were gathering their belongings. My flight's boarding, Mike said, but I'll be in touch very soon. He shook Maya's hand firmly and looked once more at sleeping Sophia. Take care of that little fighter, he said. And remember, your parents were right. Tough people do last through tough times. As Mike walked away toward his gate, Maya watched him go with mixed feelings. Part of her hoped he was telling the truth about helping her, but another part of her had heard too many empty promises from people who meant well, but couldn't really change anything. Maya's flight back to Chicago was called 20 minutes later. As she gathered her few belongings and prepared to face an uncertain future, she held on to Mike's words. Maybe, just maybe, her luck was about to change. Maya watched Mike walk toward his gate, but something made him stop near the windows. He pulled out his phone again and started making another call. From where Maya sat, she could see him talking seriously, but she couldn't hear any words. Mike paced back and forth while he talked. Sometimes he looked excited, pointing with his free hand like he was explaining something important. Other times, he nodded and listened carefully. The call lasted almost 15 minutes. While Mike was busy, Maya noticed another stranded passenger sitting nearby. An older woman with kind eyes and gray hair pulled back in a neat bun. She wore scrubs under her winter coat. Excuse me, the woman said to Maya. I couldn't help but notice your nursing textbooks in your bag. Are you a student? Maya looked down at her diaper bag where her study guides were peeking out. Yes, I just finished my classes. I was supposed to start working as a pediatric nurse. But she trailed off, not wanting to explain the whole sad story again. I'm Betty Morrison, the woman said with a warm smile. I'm a nurse at Chicago Children's Hospital. Been working there for 30 years. Really? Maya's eyes lit up. I've always wanted to work with children. What's it like? Betty's face brightened. It's the best job in the world. Hard sometimes, but so rewarding. We need good nurses, especially ones who understand what families go through. Betty watched Maya gently adjust Sophia's blanket. I can tell you'd be wonderful with kids. You have natural instincts. Thank you, Maya said softly. I hope I get another chance to prove it. What do you mean, another chance? Betty asked. Maya explained about the Phoenix job falling through because of the storm. She told Betty about studying for 2 years while working at the diner and taking care of Sophia alone. That's terrible, Betty said, shaking her head. You clearly have the dedication we need. Most people couldn't handle school, work, and a baby all at once. I had to try, Maya said. For her, She looked down at Sophia, who was still sleeping peacefully. Betty studied Maya's face. You know, we do have openings at children's hospitals sometimes. Night shift positions mainly, but they pay well, and the hours might work better for a single mom. Really? Maya asked, hardly daring to hope. I could put in a good word for you. With my supervisor, Betty offered. What's your background in pediatrics? Maya told Betty about Sophia's premature birth and how the nurses had inspired her. She talked about her classes and her dream of helping sick children feel safe and loved. You sound exactly like the kind of nurse we need, Betty said thoughtfully. Just then, Mike returned from his phone call. He looked excited but also mysterious, like he was hiding a secret. How's Sophia doing? He asked, sitting back down next to Maya. Much better, thanks to you, Maya replied. Mike, this is Betty. She's a nurse at Chicago Children's Hospital. Mike's eyes widened with interest. Chicago Children's? That's a great hospital. One of the best, Betty agreed. I was just telling Maya that we sometimes have openings for dedicated nurses like her. Mike looked back and forth between Maya and Betty, and a slow smile spread across his face. That's very interesting. Maya, can I talk to you privately for a minute? Maya looked confused but nodded. Mike led her a few steps away from Betty, carrying Sophia with them. Maya, I just made some phone calls, Mike said quietly. I told you I might know someone who could help you, remember? Yes, Maya said, her heart starting to beat faster. Well, I talked to some people I know in Chicago. People who work with hospitals and hiring. Mike paused, making sure no one else could hear them. There might be a position opening up very soon. A night shift job working with children. Maya's mouth fell open. Are you serious? Very serious. But I need to ask you something first. Are you really committed to this? Would you work hard and never give up, even when things get difficult? Of course, Maya said immediately. This is my dream. I would do anything to help sick children. Mike nodded, satisfied with her answer. Good. Then I want you to expect a phone call in the next few days. Someone from a Chicago hospital is going to contact you about an interview. How did you? Maya started to ask, but Mike held up his hand. Just trust me on this. Sometimes, the right people know other right people, and things work out. Maya felt tears coming again, but this time they were tears of hope instead of despair. Mike, I don't understand how you're doing this, but thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me yet, Mike said with a grin. Wait until you get the job. First, they walked back to Betty, who was gathering her own belongings as her flight was called. It was lovely meeting you, Maya, Betty said. I hope we see each other again soon. Mike and Betty exchanged a quick look that Maya didn't quite understand. It was like they shared a secret. I'm sure you will, Mike said to Betty with a knowing smile. After Betty left for her gate, Maya sat back down with Mike. Sophia woke up and looked around with bright, curious eyes. Her fever was completely gone. She looks like a different baby, Mike observed. She feels like one too, Maya said, touching Sophia's cool forehead. I can't believe how fast she got better. Sometimes all we need is a little help at the right time, Mike said. Maya studied Mike's face. There was something about him that seemed familiar, but she couldn't figure out what it was. He had an air of confidence and kindness that made her feel safe. Mike, can I ask you something? Maya said. Sure. Why are you helping me? I mean, really helping, not just being nice. You don't even know me. Mike was quiet for a moment, watching Sophia play with her tiny fingers. My mother raised 5 kids mostly by herself, he said finally. My father traveled a lot for work, so Mom did everything. She worked multiple jobs, never complained, always put us first. Maya listened carefully. When I saw you at this airport tonight, taking care of your sick baby with nothing but love and determination, I saw my mom. Mike continued. She taught me that helping people isn't about getting credit or recognition. It's about doing what's right when you see someone who needs it. Your mother sounds like an amazing woman, Maya said. She is. She taught me that we all succeed together or we all fail together. Nobody makes it alone. Mike's flight was finally called for boarding. He stood up and shouldered his carry-on bag. Remember what I told you about that phone call, he said to Maya. Keep your phone close. I will, Maya promised. Mike shook her hand one more time and gently touched Sophia's tiny fist. Take care of yourselves, both of you. Maya watched Mike walk away toward his gate. She still didn't know his last name or what he did for work, but somehow she believed that her life was about to change. Her own flight to Chicago was called 30 minutes later. As Maya boarded the plane with Sophia, she felt different than when she had arrived at the airport that morning. This morning she had been desperate and alone. Now she had hope. Sophia babbled happily during the flight, playing with a small toy Mike had bought her at the gift shop. Maya looked out the airplane window at the lights of Chicago getting closer. "We're going home, baby girl," she whispered to Sophia. "And maybe, just maybe, we're going home to a new beginning." As the plane descended toward Chicago, Maya's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Mike. Expect that call tomorrow. Everything is going to work out. Trust me." Maya smiled and hugged Sophia closer. For the first time in months, she actually believed that everything might really be okay. Maya's taxi pulled up to her small apartment building on Chicago's south side at 11 o'clock that night. She was exhausted but felt lighter than she had in weeks. Sophia had slept peacefully during the flight home, and Mike's promise kept playing in her mind. "Maybe our luck really is changing, Mija," Maya whispered to Sophia as she climbed the stairs to their second-floor apartment. But when Maya reached her door, she stopped in surprise. Someone was sitting on the steps outside her apartment. In the dim hallway light, Maya recognized the gray hair and kind face. "Betty," Maya called out, confused. "What are you doing here?" Betty Morrison stood up with a warm smile, brushing dust off her nurse scrubs. "Hello, Maya. I hope you don't mind me stopping by so late." Maya shifted Sophia to her other arm and stared at Betty in shock. How did you know where I live?" "That gentleman Mike gave me your address," Betty explained calmly. "He called me after you left the airport." Maya's head was spinning. "Mike called you? But how does he have your phone number? You two just met at the airport tonight." Betty's smile got bigger. "Actually, Maya, Mike and I have known each other for quite some time. We didn't meet by accident tonight." Maya fumbled with her keys, trying to process what Betty was saying. "I don't understand. What do you mean you didn't meet by accident? Why don't we go inside and sit down?" Betty suggested gently. "I have some wonderful news to share with you." Maya unlocked her apartment door and turned on the lights. The small one-bedroom space looked exactly as she had left it that morning, clean but sparse, with Sophia's crib in the corner and nursing textbooks stacked on the kitchen table. "Can I get you some water or tea?" Maya asked, settling Sophia into her high chair. "Water would be lovely," Betty said, looking around the apartment. "You have a nice home here. Very cozy." Maya poured 2 glasses of water and sat down across from Betty at her small kitchen table. Sophia played quietly with her toys, completely content after her good sleep on the plane. "Betty, I'm really confused," Maya said. "Please tell me what's going on." Betty took a sip of water and leaned forward with excitement in her eyes. "Maya, I came here tonight because I have a job offer for you." Maya nearly dropped her water glass. "A job offer? But we just met tonight. You don't even know if I'm qualified." "Oh, but I do know," Betty said with confidence. "Mike told me all about your education, your work experience, and your dedication to your daughter. He also told me about your dream to help sick children." "He told you all that?" Maya asked, still struggling to understand. "Mike called me right after he talked to you at the airport. He described your situation and asked if our hospital had any openings for someone with your background." Betty reached into her purse and pulled out a folder. "Maya, Chicago Children's Hospital has an immediate opening for a night shift pediatric nurse. The position starts Monday if you're interested." Maya stared at the folder like it might disappear if she blinked. "Monday? That's only 4 days from now. The previous nurse had to leave suddenly for family reasons," Betty explained. "We've been looking for the right person to fill the spot. Based on everything Mike told me about you, I think you're exactly what we need." Maya opened the folder with shaking hands. Inside was a job description, salary information, and benefit details. The pay was more than she had ever imagined earning. "This can't be real," Maya whispered. "Things like this don't happen to people like me." "What do you mean, people like you?" Betty asked with a frown. Maya gestured around her tiny apartment. "Poor people, single mothers, people who can barely pay rent." Betty reached across the table and took Maya's hand. "Maya, good things happen to good people all the time. You just have to be ready to accept them when they come." "But I haven't even taken my licensing exam yet," Maya protested. "I couldn't afford the fees." Betty smiled mysteriously. "That's already been taken care of." "What do you mean?" Maya asked. "The exam fees have been paid. and you're scheduled to take the test this Saturday morning. If you pass, you can start work Monday night. Maya felt dizzy. Who paid for the exam fees? Mike, let's just say that someone who believes in your potential. Wanted to make sure money wasn't standing in your way, Betty said diplomatically. Maya stood up and walked to the window, trying to catch her breath. Sophia watched her mother with curious eyes, sensing something important was happening. Betty, I don't understand any of this, Maya said, turning back around. Why would Mike help me so much? And how does he know you? Nothing about tonight makes sense. Betty was quiet for a moment, as if deciding how much to reveal. Maya, all I can tell you right now is that Mike is someone who cares deeply about helping families in need. He has the resources to make good things happen for deserving people. What kind of resources? Maya pressed. The kind that can change lives, Betty said simply. But the most important thing is that he saw something special in you tonight. Your love for Sophia, your determination to build a better life, your dream of helping other children. Maya sat back down, overwhelmed. This is too much. It feels like charity. It's not charity, Maya. It's opportunity. There's a big difference. Betty leaned forward earnestly. I've been a nurse for 30 years. I've seen hundreds of people come and go. Some have all the education in the world, but no heart. Others have all the heart, but no skills. She pointed at Maya's nursing textbooks on the table. You have both the education and the heart. That's rare. Maya looked at Sophia, who was clapping her hands and babbling happily. The baby seemed healthier and more energetic than she had been in weeks. What if I'm not good enough? Maya asked quietly. What if I fail and disappoint everyone who's helping me? Maya, do you love Sophia? Betty asked. More than anything in the world. And you want to help other children feel safe and loved when they're sick? Yes, absolutely. Then you won't fail, Betty said with conviction. Love and determination are the most important qualifications for nursing. Everything else can be taught. Maya picked up the job folder again and read through the details more carefully. The position was exactly what she had dreamed of, working with children ages newborn to 18, helping families during difficult times. The night shift runs from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., Betty explained. It's perfect for single mothers because you can work while Sophia sleeps, and you'll be home during the day. What about childcare during the exam on Saturday? Maya asked practically. I have a daughter who babysits, Betty said. She's 22 and studying to be a teacher. She loves babies. Maya felt tears starting again. But these weren't tears of sadness or desperation. These were tears of gratitude and hope. Betty, I can't believe this is happening. Believe it, honey. Sometimes angels appear when we need them most. Maya thought about Mike's kind face and gentle voice, the way he had cared for Sophia without being asked, how he had bought medicine and food without expecting anything in return. Is Mike an angel? Maya asked with a small smile. Betty laughed. Something like that. He's definitely someone who believes in helping people find their wings. Maya looked around her small apartment one more time. On Monday night, if she passed her exam, she would start her dream job. Sophia would have a secure future. They would never have to worry about rent or food again. There's just one more thing, Betty said, standing up to leave that Maya's heart skipped. What? Mike wanted me to tell you that there's a special visitor coming to the hospital on your first day. Someone important who likes to meet new staff members. Who? Maya asked. Betty grinned mysteriously as she headed for the door. You'll find out Monday night. Trust me, it'll be a day you'll never forget. After Betty left, Maya sat in her quiet apartment, holding Sophia. The baby was tired from the long day and ready for bed. As Maya changed Sophia's diaper and got her ready for sleep, she whispered to her daughter, Tomorrow we start studying for Mama's big test. And if everything goes the way Betty says it will, our whole life is about to change. Sophia smiled and reached for Maya's face with her tiny hands, as if she understood that something wonderful was beginning. Maya stared at her nursing license certificate hanging on the wall of her apartment. She had passed the exam on Saturday with one of the highest scores the testing center had ever seen. Betty's daughter Sarah had watched Sophia during the test, and everything had gone perfectly. Now it was Monday evening, and Maya was getting ready for her first day at Chicago Children's Hospital. She put on her brand new scrubs, light blue with small teddy bears printed on them. Betty had helped her pick them out at the hospital gift shop. Look, Sophia, Maya said, holding up her hospital ID badge. Mama is officially a nurse now. Sophia clapped her hands from her high chair where she was eating dinner. At 9 months old, she was getting more active every day. Her fever from the airport was completely gone, and she seemed healthier than ever. Maya's babysitter knocked on the door at 6:30. It was Sarah, Betty's daughter, a sweet young woman with curly red hair and a big smile. "Ready for your first night as a real nurse?" Sarah asked, giving Maya a hug. "I'm so nervous," Maya admitted. "What if I make mistakes? What if the other nurses don't like me?" "You'll be fine," Sarah said confidently. "My mom has been talking about you all week. She says you're going to be amazing." Maya kissed Sophia goodbye and drove to the hospital in her old car. She had never felt so nervous and excited at the same time. The Chicago Children's Hospital building was huge and beautiful, with colorful murals painted on the walls and a playground visible through the windows. Betty was waiting for Maya at the nurse's station. On the pediatric floor, she wore bright purple scrubs and had her gray hair pulled back in her usual neat bun. "There's our new team member," Betty said with a huge smile. "How are you feeling?" "Terrified," Maya said honestly. "Good," Betty laughed. "That means you care. The best nurses are always a little nervous on their first day." Betty showed Maya around the pediatric ward. There were 20 rooms for sick children, a play area with toys and books, and a family room where parents could rest and eat meals. "We have 12 children staying here tonight," Betty explained. "Ages range from 2 months to 16 years old. Some are here for surgery, others for treatment of serious illnesses." Maya met the other nurses on the night shift. Everyone was friendly and welcoming. They all seemed to know that Maya was a single mother who had worked hard to become a nurse. "We're so glad you're here," said Jennifer, a nurse who had been working at the hospital for 10 years. "We really need someone with your dedication." Maya spent the first part of her shift learning the computer system and reviewing patient charts. She was assigned to work with Betty for the first few nights until she felt comfortable on her own. Their first patient was a 3-year-old boy named Tommy, who was recovering from heart surgery. He was scared and kept crying for his parents, who had gone home to sleep for a few hours. "Hi, Tommy," Maya said softly, sitting down next to his bed. "My name is Maya. I'm here to take care of you tonight." Tommy looked at Maya with big, sad eyes. "I want my mommy." "I know you do," Maya said gently. "I have a little girl at home too. Her name is Sophia, and she's not much younger than you." Maya showed Tommy a photo of Sophia on her phone. "See? She has a big smile, just like yours." Tommy stopped crying and looked at the picture. "She's pretty." "Thank you. And you know what? Sophia gets scared sometimes too, just like you. But when I hold her hand and tell her everything will be okay, she feels much better." Maya held out her hand to Tommy. "Would you like me to hold your hand while you try to sleep?" Tommy nodded and took Maya's hand in his small one. Within 10 minutes, he was fast asleep. Betty watched from the doorway with tears in her eyes. "You're a natural at this," she whispered to Maya. The rest of the night went smoothly. Maya helped feed a baby girl who was born premature, just like Sophia had been. She comforted a teenage boy who was nervous about surgery the next day. She helped parents understand their children's medical conditions and treatment plans. With each patient, Maya felt more confident and sure that she was exactly where she belonged. Near the end of her shift at 6 a.m., Betty pulled Maya aside with an excited expression. "I have something to tell you," Betty said mysteriously. "Remember I mentioned there would be a special visitor today?" "Yes," Maya said. "You said someone important was coming to meet new staff members." "Well, he's here," Betty said, grinning. "He's in the lobby right now, talking to some of the day shift nurses." Maya looked confused. "It's only 6 in the morning. What kind of important person comes to a hospital this early?" "The kind who really cares about the children here," Betty said. "He visits several times a year to check on our programs and meet staff members. Today he specifically asked to meet you." Maya's stomach fluttered with nerves. "Why would he want to meet me? I'm just starting my first day." "Because," Betty said with a twinkle in her eye, "he heard about your story. About how hard you work to become a nurse and how much you love helping children." Betty led Maya toward the elevator. "He's waiting in the main lobby. There are some reporters and photographers there too. He's announcing a new program to help families with medical expenses." Maya felt her palms getting sweaty. "Reporters? I don't want to be on camera. I just want to do my job." "Don't worry," Betty assured her. "You don't have to talk to reporters if you don't want to. He just wants to meet you personally." The elevator doors opened on the main lobby, and Maya could hear voices and camera flashes. There was definitely some kind of event happening down there. "Betty, who exactly is this person?" Maya asked as they walked toward the crowd. Betty smiled mysteriously. "Someone who believes in making dreams come true." They reached the edge of the crowd gathered in the lobby. Maya could see hospital staff, patients' families, and several people with cameras and notebooks. Everyone was looking toward the center of the group, but Maya couldn't see who they were all watching. "There you are," called Dr. Martinez, the head of pediatrics. "Maya, come meet our special guest." The crowd parted slightly, and Maya found herself being guided toward the center of the group. She could hear a familiar voice speaking to someone, but she couldn't place where she had heard it before. "He's just finishing up his announcement about the new scholarship program," Betty whispered. "It's going to help single mothers pursue careers in healthcare." Maya's heart started beating faster. Something about this situation felt familiar, but she couldn't figure out why. "Maya Rodriguez," Dr. Martinez called out. "I'd like you to meet someone very special." The crowd turned to look at Maya, and she felt her face turn red with embarrassment. She just wanted to hide behind Betty and go back to taking care of children. Then the man in the center of the crowd turned around, and Maya's world stopped completely. Standing there in an expensive suit, surrounded by cameras and reporters, was the same kind face that had helped her at the airport. The same gentle eyes that had watched Sophia with concern. The same warm smile that had made Maya feel safe during the worst night of her life. But this wasn't the quiet Mike, in simple clothes and a baseball cap. This was someone much more famous than Maya had ever imagined possible. Maya's mouth fell open as she finally realized who had been helping her all along. Maya stood frozen in place, staring at the tall man in the expensive navy suit. Her mind raced as she tried to process what she was seeing. The kind stranger, Mike, from the airport was standing in front of her, but he looked completely different surrounded by cameras and reporters. Then he smiled, that same warm smile she remembered from that terrible night at O'Hare Airport, and Maya's heart nearly stopped. "Maya," he said, his face lighting up with genuine joy. "It's so good to see you again." The crowd around them buzzed with confusion. Reporters started whispering to each other and snapping photos frantically. Everyone wanted to know why this famous person seemed to know the new nurse. Maya's legs felt weak. She gripped Betty's arm for support and whispered, "That's Mike. From the airport." "I know, honey," Betty whispered back with a huge grin. The man started walking toward Maya, and the crowd parted to let him through. As he got closer, Maya could see he was wearing the same Chicago Bulls t-shirt under his suit jacket, the same shirt from the airport. "You're," Maya stammered, still unable to believe what she was seeing. "You're really Mike from the airport?" "Guilty as charged," he said with a laugh, extending his hand to shake hers. "Though I probably should have introduced myself properly that night." The hospital lobby erupted in excited chatter. Camera flashes went off like fireworks. Maya heard someone gasp. "She knows Michael Jordan." Michael Jordan. The Michael Jordan. The greatest basketball player who ever lived. Maya's childhood hero. The man whose posters had covered her bedroom walls when she was growing up. "This can't be real," Maya said, shaking her head in disbelief. "It's very real," Michael Jordan said gently. "And I told you that night that things were going to get better for you and Sophia. How is that beautiful little girl doing?" Maya's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't speak for a moment, overwhelmed by the realization that her hero had been the stranger who saved her life. "She's perfect," Maya finally managed to say. "Healthy and happy and growing so fast." "I'm so glad to hear that," Michael Jordan said. "And look at you now, a real pediatric nurse, just like you dreamed." The crowd pressed closer, trying to hear their conversation. Reporters held up microphones and cameras. Dr. Martinez looked stunned, clearly not understanding how his new nurse knew the most famous athlete in Chicago. "Ladies and gentlemen," Michael Jordan said, turning to address the crowd. "I'd like you all to meet someone very special." Maya tried to step backward, embarrassed by all the attention, but Michael Jordan gently took her arm. "This is Maya Rodriguez," he announced to the room. "She represents everything that's good about Chicago and everything that's beautiful about the human spirit." The crowd quieted down to listen. 2 weeks ago, I met Maya at O'Hare Airport during that terrible snowstorm," Michael Jordan continued. "She was traveling with her sick baby daughter, trying to get to a job interview that would change their lives. Maya felt her face burning with embarrassment. She had no idea Michael Jordan was going to tell her story to all these people. Maya is a single mother who worked nights at a diner while studying to become a nurse, Michael Jordan explained. She dreamed of helping sick children, just like the nurses who helped her premature daughter when she was born. Reporters scribbled notes frantically. Camera flashes continued to pop. That night at the airport, Maya's interview was canceled because of the storm. She thought her dreams were over. But what I saw in Maya was something special, a young woman who never gave up, who loved her daughter more than anything, and who wanted to dedicate her life to helping other families. Michael Jordan looked directly at Maya with pride in his eyes. Maya reminded me of my own mother, who raised 5 children mostly alone and taught me that helping others isn't about getting credit. It's about doing what's right. The crowd murmured appreciatively. Maya wiped tears from her eyes, still unable to believe this was happening. So I made some phone calls, Michael Jordan continued. I talked to some wonderful people here at Chicago Children's Hospital, and we found a way to give Maya the opportunity she deserved. Betty stepped forward with a huge smile. Maya passed her nursing exam with flying colors and started working. Here just last night. She's already showing incredible talent with our young patients. This is amazing, said Dr. Martinez, shaking his head in wonder. Maya, you never mentioned you knew Mr. Jordan. I didn't know, Maya said, her voice cracking. With emotion, he never told me who he was. He just said his name was Mike. Michael Jordan laughed. I wanted to help Maya as a person, not as a celebrity. I didn't want her to feel like she was receiving charity. Everything that's happened to Maya, her job, her success, her bright future, she earned through her own hard work and determination. A reporter raised her hand. Mr. Jordan, is this connected to your new scholarship program? Absolutely, Michael Jordan said. Maya's story inspired me to create the Dreams Don't Quit scholarship program. We're going to help single mothers across Chicago pursue careers in healthcare and other essential fields. Another reporter called out, Maya, what was it like to find out that the stranger who helped you was Michael Jordan? Maya looked around at all the faces staring at her. Cameras pointed in her direction. Microphones held toward her mouth. She felt overwhelmed and scared. Maya started, then stopped. I can't believe any of this is real. Michael Jordan stepped closer to Maya, sensing her discomfort with all the attention. The most important thing to understand, he said to the reporters, is that Maya doesn't need me to be successful. She has everything inside herself already. The love, the dedication, the skills, and the heart. I just helped open a door that she was ready to walk through. Maya found her voice again. Mr. Jordan, Mike, I don't know how to thank you. You saved my life. You saved Sophia's future. You don't need to thank me, Michael Jordan said firmly. You did all the hard work. You studied for 2 years while raising a baby alone. You never gave up on your dreams, even when everything looked impossible. Betty wiped away a tear. Maya has been incredible with our patients. Last night, she comforted a scared little boy just by showing him a picture of her daughter and holding his hand until he fell asleep. That's the Maya I met at the airport, Michael Jordan said with pride. Someone who cares more about helping others than helping herself. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. Mr. Jordan, we can't thank you enough for bringing Maya to our attention. She's exactly the kind of nurse we need here. Maya is exactly the kind of person the world needs everywhere, Michael Jordan replied. Maya looked around the lobby at all the smiling faces. Doctors and nurses she had just met were beaming with pride. Reporters looked amazed by the story they were hearing. And in the center of it all stood Michael Jordan, her hero, her guardian angel, her friend Mike, looking at her like she was the most important person in the room. There's one more thing, Michael Jordan said, reaching into his jacket pocket to Maya's. Heart skipped a beat. What else could possibly happen? Maya, I have something for you, Michael Jordan said, pulling out a white envelope. Something to make sure you and Sophia never have to worry about the future again. Maya stared at the envelope, almost afraid to take it. After everything that had already happened, she couldn't imagine what other surprise might be waiting for her. Michael Jordan held out the white envelope to Maya, but she hesitated to take it. Her hands were shaking, and she felt like she might faint from all the emotions swirling inside her. It's okay, Michael Jordan said gently. This is something good, I promise. The crowd in the hospital lobby watched silently as Maya slowly reached out and accepted the envelope. It felt thick and heavy in her hands. Her name was written on the front in neat handwriting. "Should I open it now?" Maya asked quietly. "That's up to you," Michael Jordan said. "But maybe we should step somewhere more private first." Dr. Martinez quickly spoke up. "You can use my office. It's just down the hall." The crowd began to disperse as Michael Jordan and Maya walked toward the elevator. Betty followed close behind, and a few reporters tried to come along, but Michael Jordan politely asked them to wait in the lobby to in Dr. Martinez's office. Maya sat down in a comfortable chair while Michael Jordan and Betty watched from nearby. The office was quiet and peaceful, decorated with photos of smiling children who had been patients at the hospital. Maya carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a folded letter and something else that made her gasp out loud. It was a check for $50,000. What is this?" Maya stammered, staring at the check like it might disappear. "It's for you and Sophia," Michael Jordan said simply. "For your future." Maya's hands trembled as she unfolded the letter. It was written in the same neat handwriting as her name on the envelope. "Dear Maya," she read aloud, her voice shaking. "This money is to help you buy a home for you and Sophia. Every child deserves to grow up in a safe, secure place. And every mother who works as hard as you do deserves to know her family is protected." Maya stopped reading and looked up at Michael Jordan with tears streaming down her face. "I can't accept this. It's too much." "Keep reading," Michael Jordan said gently. Maya continued reading the letter. "This is not a loan. It is a gift from someone who believes in your dreams and your future. Use it to build the life you and Sophia deserve." Maya tried to hand the check back to Michael Jordan, but he wouldn't take it. "Mr. Jordan, this is incredible, but I can't accept $50,000 from you," Maya said. "It's not right." Michael Jordan sat down in the chair across from Maya and leaned forward with a serious expression. "Maya, let me tell you something about my mother," he said. "Her name is Dolores Jordan, and she raised 5 children mostly by herself while my father traveled for work." Maya listened carefully, wiping tears from her eyes. "My mother worked multiple jobs to keep our family together," Michael Jordan continued. "She cleaned houses, worked in a factory, did whatever it took to make sure we had food and a roof over our heads. She never complained, never gave up, never asked for help." Michael Jordan's voice grew soft with emotion. "When I became successful, I wanted to do everything I could to help other mothers who were struggling the way my mom did. But my mother taught me something important about helping people." "What did she teach you?" Maya asked. "She taught me that real help isn't about making someone feel like charity. It's about giving people the tools and opportunities they need to build their own success." Michael Jordan pointed to the check in Maya's hands. "This money isn't charity, Maya. It's an investment in your future and Sophia's future. You've already proven that you'll work hard and never give up. Now you just need the security to keep building the life you want." Betty spoke up from her chair near the window. "Maya, I've seen hundreds of nurses come through this hospital. Most of them had everything handed to them. Families with money, no children to worry about, support systems to help them succeed." Maya looked at Betty with curiosity. "But you did something much harder," Betty continued. "You became a nurse while working nights, raising a baby alone, and dealing with money problems that would have broken most people. That takes incredible strength." Michael Jordan nodded in agreement. "When I saw you at that airport, taking care of Sophia with nothing but love and determination, I saw my mother's strength. I saw someone who deserved a chance to show the world what she could do." Maya looked down at the check again. $50,000 was more money than she had ever imagined having. It was enough to buy a small house, to give Sophia a bedroom of her own, to stop worrying about rent and eviction notices. "Why me?" Maya asked quietly. "There are so many people who need help." "Because you reminded me that helping one person can change everything," Michael Jordan said. "When you help one struggling mother become a nurse, she goes on to help hundreds of sick children. When you give one little girl like Sophia a secure home, she grows up knowing she can achieve anything." Michael Jordan stood up and walked to the window overlooking the hospital parking lot. "My mother always told me that we rise by lifting others. Every success I've had in my life started with the sacrifices my mother made for our family." He turned back to Maya with determination in his eyes. I can't go back and make my mother's life easier when I was a child, but I can help other mothers who are facing the same struggles she did. Maya thought about her own parents, Carlos and Maria Rodriguez, who had worked so hard to give her a good life before they died in the car accident. They had always told her that their family was made of fighters who never gave up. Your parents would be so proud of you, Betty said, as if reading Maya's thoughts. I hope so, Maya whispered. Michael Jordan sat back down and looked Maya directly in the eyes. Maya, I want you to take this money and buy a house for you and Sophia. I want you to focus on being the best nurse you can be without worrying about rent or bills or eviction notices. Maya felt overwhelmed by his generosity and kindness. How do I ever repay something like this? You repay it by being the amazing nurse I know you're going to be, Michael Jordan said with a smile. You repay it by giving Sophia the love and security she needs to grow up strong and confident. He paused for a moment, then added, and someday, when you're successful and stable, maybe you'll find a way to help another struggling mother achieve her dreams. Maya looked at the check one more time, then carefully folded it and put it back in the envelope. Mr. Jordan, I don't have words to thank you for everything you've done for us. You don't need words, he replied. Just promise me you'll use this opportunity to build the life you and Sophia deserve. I promise, Maya said, her voice strong and determined. Betty smiled from her chair. Maya, there's something else you should know. Maya looked at Betty with curiosity and a little bit of worry. After all the surprises of the morning, she wasn't sure she could handle any more emotional revelations. What is it? Maya asked up Betty's. Smile grew mysterious. The story of how you and Mr. Jordan met isn't quite finished yet. There's something about that night at the airport that neither of you knows. Michael Jordan looked confused. What do you mean, Betty? There's a reason why you felt such a strong connection to Maya, Betty said. And Maya, there's a reason why. Everything seemed to fall into place so perfectly after you met Mr. Jordan. Maya felt her heart start beating faster. What kind of reason? Betty stood up and walked over to Maya's chair. Sometimes the universe works in ways we don't expect. Sometimes the people we think are strangers turn out to be more connected to us than we ever imagined. Betty, what are you talking about? Michael Jordan asked, clearly as confused as Maya. Betty looked back and forth between Maya and Michael Jordan with excitement in her eyes. I think it's time for both of you to learn the truth about why that meeting at O'Hare Airport was so much more than just a coincidence. 6 months had passed since that incredible morning at Chicago Children's Hospital. Maya was now one of the most loved nurses on the pediatric floor. Children asked for her by name, and parents felt better knowing she was caring for their little ones. Maya and Sophia lived in a beautiful 2-bedroom house on the north side that Maya had bought with Michael Jordan's gift. The house had a small backyard where Sophia, now 14 months old, loved to play. Sophia was walking everywhere and saying new words every day. Mama work, Sophia would say each evening when Maya put on her scrubs. That's right, baby, Maya would reply. Mama helps sick children feel better. Maya had kept her promise to Michael Jordan. She studied hard, worked harder, and found ways to help other struggling families whenever she could. She had even started a support group for single mothers at the hospital. One evening in June, Maya was working the night shift when she got a call from the emergency room. Maya, we need you down here, said Dr. Chun, the emergency room doctor. We have a child coming in who's having trouble breathing. The family specifically asked for you. Maya hurried downstairs to the emergency room. When she arrived, she saw Betty Morrison sitting in the waiting area, but Betty wasn't in her nurse uniform. She was holding a small boy about 2 years old who was breathing heavily. Betty, Maya called out, rushing over. What's wrong? Is this your grandson? Yes, Betty said, tears in her eyes. This is Marcus, my daughter's son. He's been having asthma attacks, and tonight it got really bad. Maya immediately went into nurse mode. She gently took Marcus's vital signs and helped Dr. Chin examine him. The little boy was scared and crying, but Maya spoke to him in the same soft voice she used with Sophia. Hi, Marcus, Maya said, kneeling down to his eye level. I'm Miss Maya. I'm going to help you breathe better, okay? Marcus looked at Maya with big, frightened eyes. She pulled out her phone and showed him a video of Sophia playing in their backyard. See this little girl? This is my daughter Sophia. She's not much older than you, and sometimes she gets scared too. But you know what makes her feel better? Marcus shook his head. When someone holds her hand and tells her everything will be okay, Maya said, extending her hand to Marcus. Marcus took Maya's hand, and his breathing started to calm down. Within an hour, his asthma attack was under control, and he was breathing normally again. "Thank you so much," Betty said as Maya finished checking Marcus's oxygen levels. "You were amazing with him." "That's what I'm here for," Maya said with a smile. "How are you feeling, Marcus?" "Better," the little boy said shyly. "Thank you, Miss Maya." As Marcus fell asleep in Betty's arms, Betty looked at Maya with a strange expression. "Maya, I need to tell you something," Betty said quietly. "Something I should have told you months ago." Maya sat down next to Betty in the waiting room. "What is it?" Betty took a deep breath. "That night at O'Hare Airport when you met Michael Jordan, I was there too." Maya looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I was traveling with the Jordan family that night," Betty explained. "I've been working as a private nurse for Michael Jordan's mother, Dolores Jordan, for the past 3 years." Maya's eyes widened. "You work for his mother?" "Mrs. Jordan has been having some health problems," Betty continued. "I often travel with the family to help take care of her." That night, we were all flying back to Chicago from a medical appointment in another city. Maya tried to process what Betty was telling her. "So when Michael Jordan saw me at the airport, he asked me to watch you from a distance," Betty said. "He wanted to make sure you were really who you seemed to be before he decided to help." Maya realized that her meeting with Michael Jordan had been even more carefully planned than she had thought. "After Michael talked to you and bought medicine for Sophia, he came back to where I was sitting with his mother," Betty continued. "He told us about your situation and asked me to verify your background. You checked up on me?" Maya asked. "Michael wanted to make sure you really were a struggling single mother trying to become a nurse, not someone trying to take advantage of his kindness," Betty explained. "So I called the diner where you worked and talked to your boss." Maya remembered Tony, her old boss at the diner. "What did Tony tell you?" "He said you were the hardest worker he'd ever seen," Betty smiled. "Always picking up extra shifts, never complaining, always talking about your dream to become a nurse and help your daughter have a better life." Betty shifted Marcus to her other arm as he slept peacefully. "That's when Michael decided to do more than just buy medicine and food," Betty said. "He spent the rest of that night making phone calls." "What kind of phone calls?" "He called Dr. Martinez at Chicago Children's Hospital personally. He called the nursing board to arrange for your exam fees to be paid. He even called me at home to set up the job interview." Maya shook her head in amazement. "I had no idea it was all so organized." "Michael Jordan doesn't do anything halfway," Betty said with a laugh. "When he decides to help someone, he makes sure it really makes a difference." Maya looked down at Marcus sleeping in Betty's arms. "Betty, can I ask you something?" "Of course. Why are you telling me all this now?" Betty was quiet for a moment, looking at Maya with an expression that seemed almost nervous. "Because there's one more thing you need to know," Betty said slowly. "Something that even Michael Jordan doesn't know yet." Maya felt her stomach flutter with anticipation. "What?" Betty reached into her purse and pulled out an old photograph. It showed a young woman holding a baby, standing next to a tall man in a military uniform. "Maya, do you recognize anyone in this picture?" Maya took the photograph and studied it carefully. The woman looked familiar, but Maya couldn't place where she might have seen her before. "I'm not sure," Maya said. "The woman looks like someone I might know, but I can't remember where I've seen her." "Look closer at her face," Betty urged. "Look at her eyes, her smile." Maya stared at the photograph for a long moment. Suddenly, her breath caught in her throat. "She looks like..." Maya started, then stopped. "She looks like my father." "That's because she's your father's aunt," Betty said gently. "Maya, the woman in this picture is Dolores Jordan, Michael Jordan's mother." Maya dropped the photograph, her hands shaking. "What did you say?" "Your father, Carlos Rodriguez, was Dolores Jordan's nephew," Betty explained. "Carlos was the son of Dolores's sister, Elena Rodriguez." Maya stared at Betty in shock. "That's impossible." "Elena Rodriguez was Dolores Jordan's younger sister," Betty continued. "When Elena got married, she moved to Chicago and took her husband's last name. The family lost touch over the years, especially after Elena died young." Maya's mind raced as she tried to understand what Betty was telling her. "Are you saying that Michael Jordan and I are cousins?" Betty finished. "Distant cousins, but family nonetheless." Maya felt dizzy. She put her head in her hands and tried to process this incredible information. That's why Michael felt such a strong connection to you at the airport, Betty said. It wasn't just kindness to a stranger. It was family helping family, even though neither of you knew it. Maya looked up at Betty with tears in her eyes. Does Michael Jordan know? Not yet, Betty said. I only figured it out myself a few weeks ago when Mrs. Jordan was looking through old family photos. She saw the picture you had shown Michael on your phone, the one of your parents. Maya remembered showing Michael Jordan the photo of Carlos and Maria Rodriguez. Mrs. Jordan recognized your father immediately, Betty continued. She said he looked exactly like her nephew Carlos, who had moved to Chicago years ago and lost touch with the family. My father never talked much about his extended family, Maya said quietly. After my parents died, I didn't know if I had any relatives left. Betty smiled through her own tears. You do now, honey. You have a whole family who loves you and wants to be part of your life. Maya thought about Michael Jordan's kindness, his determination to help her succeed, his emotional reaction to her story about being a single mother. That's why he understood, Maya whispered. That's why he cared so much. Family takes care of family, Betty said, even when they don't know their family. Maya looked at the photograph again, seeing her father's features in Dolores Jordan's face. The same dark eyes, the same determined expression, the same strength that had carried her through the hardest times in her life. What happens now? Maya asked. Betty smiled and gently woke up Marcus, who was feeling much better. Now, Betty said, it's time for a family reunion. 1 week later, Maya received a beautiful invitation in the mail. It was printed on thick, cream-colored paper with gold letters that sparkled in the light. You are cordially invited to attend a special celebration at the United Center in honor of Michael Jordan's community service achievements. Please join us for an evening of recognition and appreciation. Maya stared at the invitation, her hands trembling slightly. At the bottom, someone had written in pen, Maya, this is the family reunion Betty mentioned. Please bring Sophia. We can't wait to meet you both. Michael, that Saturday evening, Maya dressed Sophia in her prettiest outfit, a tiny red dress with white flowers that made her look like a little angel. Maya wore a beautiful navy blue dress that she had bought with her first nursing paycheck. It was the nicest clothing she had ever owned. We're going to meet some very special people tonight, Mija, Maya told Sophia as she brushed the toddler's dark curls. Sophia clapped her hands and babbled excitedly. At 14 months old, she loved meeting new people and going to new places. The United Center was huge and impressive, with thousands of seats and bright lights everywhere. Maya had never been to such a fancy event before. She felt nervous as she walked through the main entrance, carrying Sophia and clutching her invitation. Maya Rodriguez? A woman in a beautiful black suit approached them with a warm smile. I'm Jennifer, Mr. Jordan's assistant. He's been waiting for you to arrive. Jennifer led Maya and Sophia through long hallways decorated with photographs of Michael Jordan's basketball career. Sophia pointed at the pictures and said, ball, making Maya laugh despite her nervousness. Mr. Jordan is in the VIP reception room with his family, Jennifer explained as they walked. He wanted to meet with you privately before the main ceremony begins. They stopped in front of a door marked private. Jennifer knocked softly and opened it. Mr. Jordan? Maya Rodriguez is here. Maya walked into the elegant room and immediately saw Michael Jordan standing near a group of well-dressed people. He looked handsome in a black tuxedo, but when he saw Maya and Sophia, his formal expression melted into the same warm smile she remembered from the airport. Maya, he called out, walking quickly toward them. And this must be Sophia. Sophia had grown so much since that night at O'Hare Airport. She was walking confidently now, with bright, curious eyes and a personality that made everyone smile. Hi, Mr. Jordan, Maya said softly, still feeling overwhelmed by the fancy surroundings. Please, call me Michael, he said, kneeling down to Sophia's level. Hi there, beautiful girl. You've gotten so big. Sophia looked at Michael with interest, then pointed at his bow tie and giggled. Funny. Michael laughed and loosened his bow tie playfully. You're right. It is pretty funny, isn't it? Michael, bring them over here, called a voice from across the room. Maya looked toward the voice and saw an elegant older woman sitting in a comfortable chair. She had silver hair styled perfectly and kind eyes that seemed familiar somehow. Maya, I'd like you to meet some very important people, Michael said, taking Maya's arm gently. As they walked across the room, Maya noticed several other people watching them with curious, friendly expressions. There was a woman about Michael's age who must be his wife, and several younger people who looked like they could be his children. Maya, Michael said when they reached the older woman's chair, "This is my mother, Dolores Jordan." Maya's heart stopped. This was the woman from the photograph Betty had shown her. The woman who was supposedly her father's aunt. Dolores Jordan looked up at Maya with sharp, intelligent eyes. For a moment, she just stared, as if she was studying Maya's face very carefully. "Oh my goodness," Dolores whispered, putting her hand over her heart. "You look exactly like him." "Like who?" Maya asked, though she thought she already knew the answer. "Like Carlos," Dolores said, tears starting to form in her eyes. "You look exactly like my nephew Carlos Rodriguez." The room went completely quiet. Michael Jordan looked confused, glancing back and forth between his mother and Maya. "Mom, what are you talking about?" he asked. Dolores Jordan reached out and took Maya's hand in both of hers. "Michael, this young woman is family. Maya is Carlos's daughter." "What?" Michael said, his eyes widening in shock. "Carlos Rodriguez was my sister Elena's son," Dolores explained, still holding Maya's hand tightly. "Elena was my younger sister. She died when Carlos was just a teenager, and he moved to Chicago to live with friends. We lost touch with him after that." Maya felt like the room was spinning. "You're my great aunt." "Yes, honey," Dolores said with tears streaming down her face. "I am, and that makes you and Michael cousins." Michael Jordan sat down hard in the nearest chair, looking stunned. "Cousins? Maya, we're cousins." "I can't believe this," Maya whispered. Dolores pulled out the same old photograph that Betty had shown Maya at the hospital. "This is your grandmother Elena, holding your father when he was a baby. She was the sweetest girl, always taking care of everyone else." Maya looked at the photograph, then at Dolores Jordan's face, then at Michael Jordan's shocked expression. "That's why you felt so connected to Maya at the airport," Dolores said to her son. "Family recognizes family, even when we don't understand why." Sophia, who had been playing quietly with Maya's purse, suddenly walked over to Dolores Jordan and raised her arms to be picked up. "Up, up," Sophia demanded with a big smile. Dolores carefully lifted Sophia onto her lap, and the toddler immediately started playing with her grandmother's pearl necklace. "Hello, sweetheart," Dolores said to Sophia. "I'm your great-great-aunt Dolores." Sophia didn't understand the words, but she seemed to feel comfortable with this kind woman. She snuggled against Dolores's chest and said, "Nice." Michael Jordan stood up and walked over to Maya, still looking amazed. "Maya, I can't believe this. All this time, we've been family." "I never knew," Maya said, wiping tears from her eyes. "My father never talked about his extended family. After my parents died, I thought Sophia and I were completely alone." "You're not alone," said a woman's voice from across the room. Michael's wife stepped forward with a warm smile. "I'm a vet. Jordan, Michael's wife. And if you're family, then you're our family too." Michael's children gathered around Maya and Sophia, introducing themselves and asking questions about their newly discovered cousin and great-niece. "This explains so much," Michael said, shaking his head in wonder. "Maya, when I saw you at that airport with Sophia, something inside me just knew I had to help you. I thought it was just because you reminded me of my mother's struggles, but it was more than that." Dolores nodded from her chair, still holding Sophia. "Your father Carlos had the same determination, the same strength that I see in you, Maya. He was such a good boy, always working hard and trying to take care of everyone around him. He and my mother worked so hard to give me a good life," Maya said. "They always told me I came from a family of fighters who never gave up." "They were right," Dolores said proudly. "The Rodriguez and Jordan families have always been fighters. We've always believed that if you work hard and never give up, you can achieve anything." Michael sat down next to Maya and put his hand on her shoulder. "Maya, I need to apologize to you." "Apologize? For what?" Maya asked, confused. "For not knowing you existed," Michael said seriously. "For not being there when your parents died, when you were struggling alone with Sophia." "Michael, you couldn't have known," Maya protested. "But I should have," he said. "Family should take care of family, and I let you struggle alone for years." Dolores spoke up from her chair. Michael, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You found Maya when she needed help most, and you made sure she had everything she needed to succeed. But if I had known she was family, Michael started. You would have done exactly the same things, Dolores interrupted. Because you have a good heart, and you help people whether they're family or strangers. Maya looked around the room at all the faces smiling at her and Sophia. For her entire adult life, she had felt alone in the world. Now, suddenly, she was surrounded by family she never knew existed. What happens now? Maya asked quietly. Now you're part of our family, Yvette Jordan said warmly. Holiday dinners, birthday parties, graduations. You and Sophia are included in everything. And no more struggling alone, Michael added firmly. If you need anything at all, you call us. That's what family does. Sophia had fallen asleep in Dolores Jordan's arms, looking perfectly peaceful and content. The sight of her daughter being held by her great-great-aunt made Maya's heart feel full. There's one more thing, Michael said, standing up with a determined expression. Maya looked at him with curiosity and just a little bit of worry. After all the surprises of the past few months, she wasn't sure she could handle any more big revelations. What is it? She asked. Michael Jordan smiled and gestured toward the door where the sounds of a large crowd could be heard. I'm about to go out there and announce a new foundation, he said. A foundation that will help single mothers pursue education and career goals, just like you did. That's wonderful, Maya said. And I want to name it after your parents, Michael continued. The Carlos and Maria Rodriguez Foundation for Family Success. Maya burst into tears. Really? Your parents raised an incredible daughter who never gave up on her dreams. I want their names to be remembered every time we help another family build a better life. Maya hugged Michael tightly, finally understanding that this wasn't just about luck or coincidence or being in the right place at the right time. This was about family finding family. This was about love that connects people even when they don't know they're connected. This was about the power of never giving up, even when everything seems impossible. As they prepared to go to the main ceremony, Maya looked at Sophia, sleeping peacefully in Dolores Jordan's arms. Her daughter would grow up knowing she came from a family of fighters and champions. She would never have to feel alone or struggle without support. Ready to meet the rest of the world? Michael asked Maya with a grin. Maya straightened her shoulders and lifted her chin with the same determination that had carried her through nursing school while raising a baby alone. I'm ready, she said. The airport encounter that had started with a crying baby and a desperate mother had come full circle. Maya had found not just success and security, but something even more precious. She had found her family, and sometimes, Maya thought as they walked toward the main ceremony, the greatest miracles happen when we need them most. Where are you listening from today? Drop a comment and let us know your city or country. We love hearing from our amazing viewers around the world. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring true stories like this one. We share incredible tales of hope, kindness, and human connection every week. Most importantly, share this video with your friends and family. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, stories like Maya's remind us of the power of compassion and the importance of never giving up on our dreams. When we share these stories, we spread kindness and awareness that can inspire others to help someone in need. Thank you for listening, and remember, you never know when you might be someone's guardian angel, just like Michael Jordan was for Maya and Sophia. See you in the next story.